Sunday. Brothers and sisters, as we prepare to hear from our minister who has joined us, we'd like to hear from Sister Tanetta Muhammad, who will tell us about a trip that our minister took to the East. Keep your minds and your hearts prepared for the word from our brother as you listen to our Sister Tanetta Muhammad. Please receive her with a round of applause.
Assalamu alaikum. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. In the name of Allah, the Beneficent, the Merciful. All praise is due to Allah that we are still here in America to celebrate the 60th anniversary of the coming of Master Fard Muhammad to redeem the lost and found people here in the wilderness of North America. He came to us from the holy city of Mecca. And with that, I have been given a great privilege and honor to announce to you a very wonderful commemorative plaque that was presented to our brother Minister Farrakhan on his journey to Arabia. As you know, he visited Saudi Arabia in the latter part of 1989, and he went to address a conference of scholars and scientists in the holy city of Mecca at a conference there. And he was most eloquent and he was most profound in his representation of our history of the nation of Islam here in America, the coming of Master Fard Muhammad, and the raising of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad as our divine leader, teacher, and guide. He also received in this year a secondary invitation to return to the holy city of Mecca, as he was invited by the Secretary General of a great organization of the Islamic world called the OIC, the Organization of Islamic Conference. It was attended by 41 ministers of Islamic governments around the world. And Minister Louis Farrakhan addressed that conference, and he was presented with this most beautiful commemorative plaque on the occasion of the 20th anniversary since its inception in 1970. It reads, Organization of the Islamic Conference, again, Organisation de la Conférence Islamique, which is also written in French, and above it is written in Arabic. In the center of this beautiful plaque is a phase of the moon in red as it is tilted in its upside down position. And it just so happens that this particular position of the crescent, as it has been placed in this beautiful commemorative plaque, actually occurs in the heavens with the crescent and the star in this position every 14 years. It says, we present from Dr. Hamid Al-Gabid, the Secretary General, on the occasion of the 20th anniversary of the Organization of the Islamic Conference, the 12th Rajab, which is the Arabic month of the year 410 Hijrah, which corresponds to the 7th day of February 1990. And this was presented to our minister that we may know that the voice and the spirit of Allah is going throughout the land, throughout the entire world. And this is most important, and I want us all to applaud and to receive our minister as he was received in Mecca.
Brothers and sisters, it's my honor at this time to welcome to the rostrum Reverend Mitty Collier, who will sing a special song that Minister Farrakhan has requested, and then we will hear from our brother. Please welcome to the rostrum Reverend Mitty Collier.
Assalamu alaikum. It is truly an honor and a privilege to be here before you today on this grand occasion. And it is a joy to have been asked out of all the singers in this whole universe to sing for our minister. I have sat in his company many times, and I am convinced that he is a man who has been chosen by God, an ordinary person. An ordinary person person whom God has put in his hands to do some extraordinary things. And in his appointed time, when nobody else can stop it, he shall come forth. And as he does, saying, "Let my people go," he continues to be a man for all people. Just ordinary people. My God uses
brothers and sisters, the national representative of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, the Honorable Louis Farrakhan.
Thank you. In the name of Allah, the Beneficent, the Merciful, Allah, the Creator of all things, the Revealer of all truth, the Sender of all prophets. To Him alone do I submit and seek refuge. I thank Allah for Moses and the Torah, for Jesus and the Injil, for Muhammad and the Holy Quran. Peace be upon all of these worthy servants of God. I thank Allah again for raising up among us a divine leader, teacher, and guide to teach us from the Torah, from the Injil and the Quran, and to make us to understand that these books are a plan of salvation, not just for us, the oppressed in America, but for the oppressed all over the world and for the total human family of our planet. I thank Allah for the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. Now, I have a very difficult subject to get over to you today, and I am so grateful to Almighty God, Allah, for the blessing of your presence. So many distinguished brothers and sisters from every walk of life and from every religious persuasion. We have Hebrews, we have Christians, we have Muslims of different persuasions and Christians of different denominations and Jews or Hebrews of different persuasions. We have represented almost the human family of our planet. I am deeply honored by your presence, and I thank you for receiving Brother Minister Akbar, my national assistant. Just come out here very briefly. Come out, brother. No. Come out here. Sister Tainara Muhammad. I really thank you for receiving our national assistant, Brother Akbar Muhammad, our national spokesman from Washington, D.C., Brother Abdul Alim Muhammad, our national youth coordinator, Brother Conrad Muhammad, our sister instructress extraordinaire, Sister Tainara Muhammad, and Brother Rufai, Ahmed Rufai from Nigeria, who is our teacher in Arabic and Islamic studies and teaches our students, and he has some students that just started a few months ago, and they are now reading the Quran in Arabic. All praise is due to Allah. Thank you. To all of the laborers of Islam from the Midwest region, and to all of you who are listening via telephone hookup throughout the United States and the Caribbean, I'm very, very honored to have you in our midst. We also have with us all the way from London, England. We have at least 4 believers from a growing community of Muslims, followers of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad in the United Kingdom. His brother Michael from London. Is he here? Oh, there he is. Are you the spiritual teacher of the community there? He says, yes, inshallah. Well, I think, brother, you should wear the name Muhammad. So, yeah, we want, Brother Michael, thank you. Thank you. Yeah, we want that name ringing throughout the earth. Now, dear brothers and sisters, our subject today, in celebration of the 113th birthday of Master Faraj Muhammad, who was born February the 26th in the holy city of Mecca in the year 1877. This afternoon, I want to share with all of you in as short a time as possible why we celebrate the birth of this great one who came from the East. And before I say a word, I want to thank the Reverend Mitty Collier. I know her voice was under a strain. She was hoarse. But she said she wanted to sing, and what a beautiful song, When Your Life is in the Master's Hand. Thank you. When you see Christian ministers, female and male, attending a Savior's Day and feeling like it belongs to them too, then know that the Quran is being properly taught. Because the Quran is not a book of division. It is a book of unity. When you see Hebrews and Muslims and Christians coming together as Moses, Abraham, Jesus, and Muhammad would be together, then know that the book is being taught properly. For God is not the God of confusion, but He is the God of peace. And He desires for all who believe in Him to be as one family. But we have been divided. Muslims against Christians, Christians against Muslims, Muslims and Christians against Jews, Jews against Muslims and Christians, Hindus and Buddhists, all religious people at each other's throat in the name of God, which we all bear witness is one God. Something is wrong. You can say it is Allah's will or intention that people who believe in Him should be at each other's throats. Somebody else is benefiting from our division. So my subject matter today is titled, When the Sun Rises in the West. When the sun rises in the West. That's a strange title. A man came to us from Mecca in Arabia. "60 years ago this year. He taught many, but one man from among his many students he knew had the right heart, the right mind, the right spirit to receive a mission. And that mission was and is the resurrection of 30 million black people in America and human beings throughout the earth." Now, the Nation of Islam, as it became known, some called us the black Muslims. We became the heart, the core, the essence, the motivation, and the inspiration of the black movement in the 60s. If there were no Muslims, there would have been no movement. It was the Nation of Islam under the leadership of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, with Malcolm X as his spokesperson, that began to inflame black America with a message that black America had never heard before. Strange sounding man with a strange sounding name, with a strange sounding word that shook America to its core. And because of Elijah Muhammad, and because of a spokesperson at that time called Malcolm X, and many of us who were Elijah Muhammad's ministers, a revival of a nationalistic trend among black people was begun. Martin Luther King, our beloved brother, came from the opposite side of Elijah Muhammad's message. For Dr. King and the civil rights movement wanted integration, and Elijah Muhammad and those with him wanted separation in a land of our own. So these two poles began to electrify black America, and movement began. But as movement began, white America became totally afraid. And the government of the United States, under the counterintelligence program of Mr. J. Edgar Hoover, set out to destroy black leaders, black organizations, all of them, including the NAACP, the Urban League, and those organizations that appeared innocuous or harmless to white people. They were dangerous. We lost at that time some of our great leaders, A. Philip Randolph, Whitney Young of the Urban League. We lost Medgar Evers. We lost Martin King. We lost Malcolm X. And 15 years ago today, the news went forth throughout America and the world that Elijah Muhammad was dead. And his son, who is now known as Imam Warithuddin Muhammad, accepted the leadership of this most powerful, disciplined organization that had ever arisen on this continent. There never was an organization, an organized body of black men and women like the Nation of Islam. Never was. Even though many Christians didn't join us, they admired us. The clean brothers, the clean sisters, your own children that you couldn't do anything with. When you failed with them, you sent them to us. We took your family members out of prisons and cleaned them up. We took them off of the bottle and drugs and pimping and prostitution and crime of every kind. And we made something out of our people, and Elijah Muhammad made something out of our women. He was a wonderful, wonderful teacher. And then in 1975, a change took place. He no longer among us. A new leadership comes into power, and the Nation of Islam begins to change not only its philosophy, but its direction. History will best judge whether that was a mistake, but whatever it was, many of us fell backwards into the life we used to live before we met the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. Went back to drinking, smoking, gambling, and even many of us went out and married into the family of the enemy, who had brought our fathers into this shameful condition and intolerable position. So, in the fall or late summer of 1977, I decided to rebuild the work of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. There was no one present but one brother and myself. I don't know whether Brother Jabril is here. He should be somewhere. He's not here. He's on his way. From two people, we went underground for 7 years. I never gave an interview to any press for 7 years. I never would establish myself in the city of Chicago, though I lived in Chicago, because the Imam was here in Chicago. And I knew that if I raised my head too soon, it would have created bloodshed. And the thing that I wanted to avoid, and thanks to Allah, up to this moment, we have avoided, is the bloodshed that the enemy always wants to produce between black people. When black folk are killing each other, white folk are happy. Not because I say so, because if they wanted to stop the gang warfare, they know how to do it. Not only don't they stop it, they finance it. They encourage it. Because the more of our young people that kill each other, the less problem they'll have in the future in the time of our rise. You can take it or let it alone. Brother Farrakhan began to speak in venues in little towns from mainly in the deep south. That's where I started. In a place that you wouldn't believe, in Mississippi. I went right down into Mississippi by myself with just the Quran and the words of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. And everywhere I went, God blessed me with a brother who would stand up after hearing me and say, that man needs some protection. Talking like that. And in Mississippi, in Georgia, in Alabama, in Louisiana, in little cities like Plainfield, New Jersey, and stayed away from the big cities. Just kept putting things in the smaller cities, sending others into the big cities. Sometimes we had 4 or 5 different cells in one city, and we would never show one brother to the other because we wanted to see which cell was diseased. And if one was diseased, we didn't want a diseased cell hooking up with one that was clean, so we kept the cells separated for 7 years. When white folk knew anything about Louis Farrakhan, I was up and ready to be seen. Now, you might not think that there was a lot of heavy strategy used by Brother Farrakhan in getting us to this point. But if you were a general who plotted strategy to win war, you couldn't have plotted one better than the strategy that we have used to get us from nothing to where we are right now, in the face of our enemies. And I'm not saying that to give any credit to myself. I'm only saying that to allow you to see at the outset of my lecture that I am a guided human being. And if you don't submit to one greater than yourself to guide you, then you will continue to be foolish until guidance is a part of yourself. You understand? You have to submit to a guide until the guidance is internalized and you become a rightly guided individual. Do you follow what I'm saying? Very good. After I met with the Reverend Jesse Jackson in his campaign, it was the Reverend Jesse Jackson who asked me not to keep silent, but to speak. And by speaking, he meant talk to the press. I decided I would do so after 7 years. The press went crazy. Not that Farrakhan went crazy. The press went crazy. And they called me everything but what I was. Not because the press didn't know what I was, but because the press is an instrument that has been used against every black leader of consequence that has ever arisen for our freedom. The press press is the instrument of the government. When the government wishes to destroy you, the press is their instrument. Black folk go before the press too much. To be very honest with you. They love to ask you, what are your plans? And you love to tell them. And then you wonder why your plans never come to fruition. So when Brother Farrakhan surfaced, I really had an army. An army of righteous men and women. Yes. God's men need armies. And there are thousands that you see, but there are tens of thousands of more that you don't see. Because whatever you see on the surface has a root that is unseen. Always enemy, I'm talking to my enemies now, never calculate on what you see. Because the unseen is always more profound than what you see. You are not going to tell the truth in America unless God is with you, protecting you, and you have men and women dedicated who will give their lives. Then if you know the truth and you will tell it, then you just want to die. Because you live in an environment that will kill you if they don't like your truth. It's sad, but it's true. We have not matured to the point where we can listen to people with whom we disagree and not want to harm that person. We who claim to be lovers of God have such little faith in God that when somebody rises up saying this or that about themselves or others, we want to kill them. And I'm not in that. I say we, but I'm not in that. Because I feel that every man and every woman who has a claim should put it forward. God is sufficient to say who is who and what is what. God sets up, and what God sets up, nobody can set down. And what the people set up, if God is not with it, you can't hold it up. So it doesn't make any difference if you have thousands of people with you or millions of people with you. It's irrelevant. The one that you and I must have with us is God. And if God is for you, then who can be against you? That's the point. Now, we grew by God's grace, and we grew. In spite of the opposition and the evil things that many of the Jews were saying against Louis Farrakhan, we grew. No matter what they said, we grew. No matter what they did, we grew. In fact, many of our opponents became so angry that money was coming to us, that they want to cut off every source by which we could get money, because they know that wisdom must have money. If wisdom doesn't have money, wisdom can't express its wisdom. Do you understand what I'm saying? That's all right, brother, right here in the front. Brother? Brother Carl. Your brother's got it. Thank you. I'm helping the usher to seat somebody. And that's my brother, the doctor, so you better give him a good seat. Very happy to see you, Doctor. Now, where was I? Yeah. Wisdom has to marry money. If you're wise, the enemy will keep money from you. If you're a fool, the enemy will give money to you. And that's why I'm sorry, I don't mean to call those of us who have wealth fools. Don't misunderstand me. But white folk will allow certain ones of us who are talented to have lots of money. Because they'll go right at the back door or the front door, at the side door or through the window and get it right back. But anybody that has come up among us that was wise, they fight them tooth and nail to keep them from getting money. Marcus Garvey had a heck of a time trying to raise money to fuel his ideas. White folk are wise enough to listen to you speak and weigh the power of your idea. And if your idea is powerful and it's contrary to what they would appreciate, then they will try to crush your idea. And one of the ways they try to crush your idea is to talk evilly about the speaker of the idea. Because once you have vilified the exponent of an idea, you weaken the effectiveness of the idea. You weaken the people's confidence in the man who is putting forth the idea. And faith and confidence in your leadership is absolutely necessary to be successful. So the enemy must undermine leadership by attacking the leader and making the people lose confidence in the leader. Then after you lose confidence in the leader, you don't support the leader, then no matter how powerful the idea is, the idea cannot come to fruition. So everywhere I go now, the enemy is trying to keep me from getting money. On the college campuses, the Jews protest and protest and protest. They know I'm not what they say I am, but they just don't want me to have money to do what they know I got in my mind to do for our people. Keep the boy poor. Then make everybody think he's an anti-Semite. He's a hater. He's a bigot. Well, I realized that that's what they were doing. So brothers and sisters, we went to work and went to our people and ourselves. And this mosque, which was bought by the Honorable Elijah Muhammad in 1972, became available. And last year, we dedicated this house. We raised, in about 5 months, approximately $4 million. Think about that. Bought this, renovated it, opened our school, and many contractors, I have to be very honest, more black than white, gave their service, not freely, at great cost to us, but they wanted to see us in here. So we owe approximately $400,000. It's really more like 200 and some odd thousand. Just to complete this. And all year long we've been struggling to pay our contractors. We borrowed from the bank $800,000 to help in our renovations and to close the contract, which was a cash deal. We have paid back over $300,000 on that $800,000 in a year and a half to put lights in here and gas. I don't know how electricity got so expensive. But you got to understand, if the electric company is your enemy and the gas company is your enemy and the telephone company is not your friend, somehow or another it looks like we're using a lot more electricity than the Greeks used when they had it. And certainly a lot more gas, because I know the Greeks were not paying this kind of money. Black folk are oppressed not only by a powerful government, but we are oppressed by the light company, the gas company, the telephone company. Everybody beats the hell out of the black man and woman. But I promise you, brothers and sisters, that if we ever come to power, I will remember our friends, and I sure am going to remember every enemy that put it on us, brothers and sisters. Everyone. We in the nation have a restaurant which we have put $750,000 into already. It will be one of the finest restaurants, bakery complexes, Blue Seas Fish House. It'll have all of that in one complex. It'll be a $3 million project. It's partly up. We started our school. I do not wish to see the Nation of Islam in debt to nobody past October of 1990, which means that the $500,000 that we owe the bank on this mosque and school complex, they will have their money. Every debt that is owed, every debt that we have must be paid. I want the mosque, the school, the Final Call building, every piece of property that we own, I want it free of debt, and I want some money in a bank that we can deal effectively for our people. We have a school and we want to grow that school, expand that school, secure that school. We've got to complete this building because there is to be a ultra-modern, magnificent prayer facility downstairs called Musalla. We don't want you parking out there. We want parking to be underground. And we want that to be turned into a park, to beautify where we are. We don't want no buildings around us. We got to buy it up and tear it down and build a national center. I'm asking the Muslim world to help me. But I'm not a beggar. And I can't bow down and compromise what I know to be the truth for anybody's dollars. I'm a free black man, and I will remain that way till God takes me from this earth. No brother or sister should bend principle or compromise what you know for $1. I don't know whether they're going to help us or not, but we can't sit around waiting on a mystery God to do for us what we can get up off our knees and do for ourselves. We can't continue to go to the white man with our hat in our hand like poor beggars, and go to the dope dealer with money in our hand, to the liquor store with money in our hand, to the shoe store with money in our hand. I have never preached for money. I'm the most miserable money raiser. I love to teach the word, but I'm telling you today, we are going on a drive, and we're not going to stop until we're not going to stop. To see every dollar that we give going to the bank paying interest. I got my eye on the bank. Not to pay them interest, but to buy them out. Not to pay them interest, but to buy them out. We can't build for our people without our own bank. Bank with an S on the end of it, banks. Banks is nothing more than the confidence of the people in that lending institution. There is a growing confidence in black America for Louis Farrakhan. We must turn that confidence into institutions that will not let our people down. So I'm asking for your help in the next 4 months. I'm asking everyone to pledge to raise $1,000 in the next 4 months. Listen to me good. Is that your subject? Yes, sir. No, it's not my subject. I had to get this out of the way. I got to take care of business. This is something Brother Farrakhan does not do. I love the word so much you'll find me teaching the word on an empty stomach. I got to do better. What I'm saying, even those who are guests, you know that I'm not a person to misuse your money. I have proved that. You didn't hear me. Brother Farrakhan never has been a thief. And you couldn't put a gun to my head and make me take something from you. No. Whatever I've been given by you, I give it right back to you. And to show you the kind of man that I am, everything that I have started, my name is on nothing as an owner, and I don't benefit somebody else does, which is not necessarily wise. And my son said, that's right. But I want to show you that God, through the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, didn't put any robber in front of you. I'm not a robber. Don't have that kind of record. Never will have that kind of record. So a man that you can trust, that is building for you. If I ask you to raise $1,000 in 4 months, then you should say, I'll do it. I'll do it because in 4 months, I know the mosque will be finished, out of debt. The school will be secure. The restaurant, bakery, complex, which will give jobs to us and give us an economic base to support our school, will be completed. I need your help. I need your help. I'd like to know if you would agree. Say, where am I going to get $1,000 in 4 months' time? No, that's a good question. Where am I going to get $1,000 in 4 months? Well, there are many ways you can get it. You can get it from your pocket, which is not a wise way, but it is a way. But if you don't have it in your pocket, what are you saying, Farrakhan? Don't go in nobody else's pocket. There are many ways that we can raise the money. We have products that we can sell. We have ads for our newspaper we can get. But what we think we're going to do, we're going to start a membership drive. All of you are members of the nation, whether you know it or don't know it. All of you are born of the righteous. Yeah. So look, the NAACP has 400,000 members. They've been having that for the last many years. There are 30 million black people in America, and everywhere we go, they turn out, they love us, they say they love the message. Okay, then become a card-carrying member of the Nation of Islam. And that membership, you can belong to the church and stay in the church. That doesn't take you out of the church. But what you're saying is, I'm a part of my nation. I'm a Christian. I'm not ready to come out of my church, and I'm not going to ask you to. Because a nation includes churches, all kind of religions. If your nation is not big enough to include all of the ideologies of the people in your nation, then you don't understand the concept of nation. How many, look at what Master Farad Muhammad asked, how many Muslims are there in North America? He didn't say, well, there's one or two. Every black person in America at that time, he said, was a Muslim. I don't care what you call yourself. God says you are the righteous. We recognize you as being a part of one family. So we're going to sell 1 million memberships. Yeah. I would hope we sell 10 million. So that when I speak, I don't speak for the few that are registered Muslims who have accepted the discipline. But the Honorable Elijah Muhammad told me, don't speak for a few, speak for all. And in me, you got somebody that's not going to sell you out. And if I know I got 1 million members, 10 million members, 10 out of 40, I'm not going to stop there. Because I want the 2 million Indians and 20 million Hispanics. I'm coming for the Arabs. But you don't have any voice in America. And then when we sit down and beat the bushes, more than a quail will jump out. So, when the lecture is over, I had to say something a little. When the lecture is over, we're going to pass out to everybody a pledge slip. And I'd like you to look at it and pledge to help me fulfill these goals this year. And let's go on to serve our people in a bigger and a better way. All the ministers, are you with me in this? All the laborers, are you with me in this? What about the Nation of Islam? Are you with me in this? That's everybody. Very good. Now I'm going to try to get this subject over as fast as I can. You say you ain't finished? Now listen, I want you to just settle down. Just settle down. Calm down. Because this is a very serious message. It's the most difficult message I've ever delivered. I need your, not only your attention, but I want you to listen like you've never listened before. I want you who are Muslims to listen with a critical ear. I want you who are Hebrews, listen with a critical ear. Christians, please, listen with a critical ear, because I'm about to say something that might cause you to think much differently than you've ever thought before about your scripture. I want to say that the mosque is full to capacity. In our musalla downstairs, there's no more room. They're looking at a big, beautiful screen. The gymnasium is full. People are everywhere in the building, and more still coming. And I don't want to keep you long, but I do need your concentration. When I went to Mecca to talk with the scholars, the biggest question that the scholars had for Brother Farrakhan was point number 12 of what the Muslims who follow the Honorable Elijah Muhammad believe. And here's what it says. We believe that Allah, God, appeared in the person of Master W. Farad Muhammad, July 1930, the long-awaited Messiah of the Christians and Mahdi of the Muslims. We believe further and lastly that Allah is God, and besides him there is no God, and he will bring about a universal government of peace wherein we all can live in peace together. Now, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad placed this statement on the back page of his paper, Muhammad Speaks, and it is now on the back page of the Final Call newspaper. I think he knew that it would upset Jews, Christians, and Muslims, because the Jews are looking for the Messiah. They never accepted that Jesus was in fact the Messiah. Is that right? The Christians are looking for Jesus the Messiah to return. Come on, come on, come on. Come on. Muslims are looking for the Mahdi and the Messiah. Right. Listen now. In some of the scholarship of the Muslims, you cannot even be considered a believer if you doubt or disbelieve in the coming of the Mahdi and Jesus coming with him. Now listen, I want you to know I'm sending this tape to the scholars in Mecca, and I want their critical appraisal and comment, and then we'll deal with it from that point. Now look, if the long-awaited Messiah of the Christians has appeared in the person of Master W. Farad Muhammad, then he returned without their knowing it. The Jews rejected the historical Jesus, so if the Messiah that the Jews are looking for has come to us, the black man and woman of America, how does this affect the place of the Jews in the future? If the Mahdi that the Muslim world is looking for did not appear in Syria, but appeared in North America, what does this mean to the Muslim world? Is the sun now rising from the west? Come on now, I want you to think and critically appraise what I'm about to say. Muslims object to the use of the phrase God coming in the person of anybody. To the Muslim world, this is shirk. Shirk means setting up a rival or a partner with God. The Holy Quran teaches us that this is the most hated of all sins and is unforgivable. Listen to what the Quran states. Surely Allah forgives not that a partner should be set up with him, and he forgives all besides that to whom he pleases. And whoever sets up a partner with Allah, he devises indeed a great sin. The question before us today, when Elijah Muhammad put that sentence on the back page of the paper that God appeared in America for you and me, was he guilty of setting up a rival or a partner with God? Wait a minute, if this that we are a part of is shirk, then we are committing the gravest sin in Islam. But if we are not guilty and you reject the guidance of Al-Mahdi, what kind of sin are you committing? What kind of sin are you committing? Now I want you to think with me, because you're all looking for somebody. And I don't care who you're looking for, the question is, you know you need somebody. Christians, you're in bad shape and you need Jesus. Talk to me. Jews, you in bad shape and you need the Messiah. Muslims, you're in bad shape and you need the Mahdi. All right. And we know as black people we're in terrible shape. Now look at this. Please bear with me now. In the Bible, we have this concept supposedly taught by the prophets that God is coming. Come on. Is that a concept taught in the Bible? In the Old Testament, does not God say he will come? In the book of Genesis, doesn't God say that after his people had been in bondage 400 years, he didn't say he was going to send anybody. He said, I will come. I will come. Does the Quran say that? Yes. Allah appeared to Moses in the valley of Tuwa. The Bible says, in a burning bush. God spoke to Moses from that place. That meant that God was present. Well, where was God before he was present? I want you to listen to me this afternoon. If you never heard me say nothing before, please listen. Now look, the concept of God coming is like you saying to somebody, I'll be there at such and such a time. Well, if I'll be there, that means I'm not there now. Well, then if I'm not there and I tell you what time I'm coming, this sets up expectancy. This sets up hope in you that I'm coming. Listen now. The concept of God coming suggests that God is absent, not present. But if God created everything, how could God ever not be present? Well, certainly we don't see him, but his power is displayed everywhere. Everywhere you look, in every direction, above your head, beneath your feet, you see the power of God manifest. So why would the theologians talk about God coming and God absent? To be absent means away from, not present, not in a certain place at a given time, missing, or to take or keep oneself away. To be present means a local or temporary relationship to a person or thing, which is the point of reference. Isn't that something? Now, brothers and sisters, if God can display his power, can God withhold his power? Listen to me. If God gives to whom he pleases, this means that at his pleasure, he can withdraw whatever he gives. Is that right? God gives guidance, he can withdraw it. God gives mercy and blessings, he can withdraw it. So the Quran says Allah amplifies the means of subsistence for whom he pleases, and he straightens the means of subsistence for whom he pleases. All right. Then, if this is so, can God withdraw his presence? Can God withdraw his inspiration completely and leave a thing on its own? I'm asking only the question, can God do this? How many of you agree that God can withdraw his presence? The next question we have to ask is, would he? And if he would, why would he? And under what conditions would he withdraw his presence? Now, listen to this. How many of you have ever had a challenge to your authority from somebody that depends on you? Are you the boss? You know, mothers and fathers, I'm really talking to you. You feed your children, you take care of them, and all of a sudden this that you are taking care of gets to the point one day till they rise up and challenge your authority. Then say, give me something. Then you who give them, because they challenge your authority, you say, no, I won't give you nothing. Go to your room. Or if you get real nasty, tell you something, daughter. Let me tell you something, son. Now, two of us not going to run this house together. Have you ever said that to your children? And when it gets to that point, will you put them out? Talk to me. Mama, will you put your child out? Huh? You would? I would too. But now what about somebody challenging the authority of God? Y'all with me? In the Quran, listen now, this is very important. In the Quran, Allah acquaints us with a certain conversation that he had with the devil that enables us to see what circumstances could arise and did arise that would cause God to make a conscious decision to withhold his presence from us. This conversation is referred to 7 times in the Holy Quran. In chapter 2, chapter 7, chapter 15, 17, 18, 20, and 38. Now I'm going to capsulize these references and then show you what we're involved in with the help of Allah. Allah says, and we indeed created you. Then we fashioned you. Then we said to the angels, make submission to Adam. So they submitted, except Iblis. He was not of those who submitted. Allah Iblis. Iblis is a name that means one whose evil is confined to oneself, one who is inordinately proud. If you look at these 7 conversations that God has with the devil, many of the scholars don't want to admit that Iblis was one of the angels. But if you study the text of the Quran carefully, God is talking to angels. And certainly nobody could be in the company of angels but angels. He makes a man, and then he orders the angels bow down to the man. And all the angels bow except this proud one. He tells Adam the names of the angels. And then he asks the angels, tell Adam your name. The angels couldn't speak. Then God commands Adam, inform them of their names. Then Allah says in the Quran, did not I tell you that I know what you make manifest and what you conceal? You know, there are people among us that conceal their real thoughts. They don't like the authority, but they play games. They try to make you believe they are of the submitting ones until you fashion an adequate test of them. I want you to listen. Don't go to sleep. If it gets hot, get some water. Cool out. When somebody tests you in a way that you didn't expect, then what was hidden comes right up out of you. And this is a test for the angels. God makes a man from dust or from black mud fashioned into shape, and then he tells the angels, bow down. And everybody bowed down except Iblis. And God said, what hindered you? Then listen to Iblis's answer. I'm not going to bow down to what you fashioned out of black mud. He's talking to God. Why won't you bow down? I'm better than he is. I'm made of fire while he's made of dust. Or I'm made of fire while you fashioned him out of black mud. I'm not going to bow down. Iblis is not thinking about who is ordering him to bow down. He's looking at the object that he's asked to bow down to. Listen, black brother and sister, listen, all of you. You don't know where God is going to bring his message. You that think you know so much. Wake up, brother. I tell you, if you're going to sleep, go get some water on your face. I'm not going to let you sleep on this one. If I got to come down out of this, get me a stick or something. I'll wake these people up. I'm looking for my handkerchief. You wide awake now, brother? Catch you falling asleep one more time, I'm busting you off your post. I know you'll wake up now. I thank all of you that came and stayed this long. I know you ain't never been any place this long, but I pray God I'm going to keep this subject until I finish it, if nobody's here but me. Some of you really don't know the value of this. And because you don't know the value of this, you make light of this, but in a few minutes you understand Scripture by the grace of God so clear. Every one of us destroy our organizations. You know why we destroy organization? Because you always think you're better than the person who's leading. It's very difficult to get us to submit to leadership because in our heart we're always saying, I'm better than that person. I know more than that person. So the people vote and they choose somebody. Then you turn around and say, why did they choose them? Why didn't they choose me? I got more sense than that fool that's standing up there. But the question is, who is ordering now the submission? It is not just some ignorant person. It is God himself, the best knower, asking the angels, ordering them to bow down. And one of them has the nerve to say to God, I'm not going to bow down. I don't like what you put in front of me. He's made of dust. I'm made of fire. Now look. Once you talk like that to God, you're challenging God's authority. And whenever you challenge authority, authority has the right to use its power to do one of two things: bring you into line with the authority, or punish you for not respecting authority. Do you hear what I'm saying? You do this in small organizations. You do it in your family. When your little daughter rises up and gets beside herself and pokes out her lip when you tell her to do something, you grit your teeth. You about to smack her down. You hold back. And then all of a sudden one day you let it fly. Mop, mop, mop. And then all of a sudden they recognize power is present. I better submit. And the reason that they acted the fool is because they thought power was absent. But when you bust their head, they understand power is present and they bow down. All right, listen now.